Jeff. Jim, how much do you put in weight-wise in picking a side when you have one team going to the other side for time zones?
It matters. It depends on, I think, what they came off of, what the home team came off of. It all comes together. You got to look at what happened last week, what's coming up next week, what's on the. There's no simple formula or trend that I believe in. I think you got to look at the spots. What's the number?
Number 7 at Atlanta.
I would have to look at Atlanta, honestly. I think they're alive. Not that they're a great team, but they have. I mean, they're not playing with their food. They're playing, and that's a big number on the road, guy. So yeah, I'd take Atlanta plus the 7.
How about you, Jeff?
Again, I didn't play the game, but if
Tommy,
if I were to play, I could only play the Atlanta side. It's an inflated number. But again, you have one team. You don't know their motivation, and versus a team that's playing desperately for the division. They're a much better team than Atlanta, but again, you just don't know how motivated Atlanta will be in this spot, and that's the question mark. But the number is slightly too high.
I mean, again, this game we opened at 7.5, so it's a play on the number. And to Jim and Jeff's point, the value with the home team here, even though I think there's a coaching advantage with Seattle, so that certainly is baked into the number. And Atlanta coming off a pretty brutal loss to the Jets last week, so much better defense with Seattle. I think that certainly we took that into consideration too. But these gentlemen, as professionals, will tell you that it's all about the number, and it's not a surprise that they took the 7.5. The public will be all over the favorite in this game.
Vinny, I want to stay with you because I want to talk about something real quick here. We have you from one side of the desk, so to speak, and then we have next to you Jeff, who's betting from the other side. And we have two people here that can get along, and there can be good relations from both sides.
Oh, it should be. I mean,
right.
I mean,
but a lot of times it's not. And people look at it from a long lens too.
Well, maybe I'll date myself here, and you can tell by the Italian blonde streaks in my hair that there doesn't have to be a negative relationship. I mean, there should be a positive relationship between the bettor and the bookmaker, because I want to know what their opinion is. Like, for instance, here's an example, right? These gentlemen, these folks sitting out here, they don't have to follow everything. They can follow, even if it's in the NFL, they can follow a conference, right, or a division and things like zero in on. I've got to book all the games. I want to know what respected opinions have to say, because that's valuable information to me, and that's a courtesy. There does not have to be an adversarial relationship between bettor and bookmaker, and they both need each other. It's an industry that depends on each other. So for me, and I learned a long time ago, it's better to respect respected opinions than to have it as an adversarial relationship.
How about you, Jeff? What's your thoughts on that?
Again, I agree with Vinny in the fact that I've always gotten along with the other side of the counter. I've exchanged information. And and the information goes two ways. They might tell you something you don't know, and vice versa. But again, there are situations where the public might be on one side and they need more money on the other side. So they might say, well, our limit's X on this game, but we can use a little extra if you want some. And it's always good to have a good relationship with both sides of the counter. I will often, if I get information on an injury or something, I'll pass it along. And I have a lot of good friends that are running books, and it has changed. The new era that we're in. They look at the so-called sharps or wise guys or whatever professionals you want to call them. They look at them as the enemy, but really, it's the people that are running the books now that are not as experienced as the people from like the 90s and the 2000s, like Jimmy Vaccaro, for example. He he used to book everybody at the Mirage, and the information that he would get, I think he knew exactly who was on what and how to move a number, and if a big pit player came in, he knew he could take a substantial wager on a game because of the relationships he had.
Well, I go back quite a ways. And one of the gentlemen that his past, Bob Martin, was a good friend, and we'd share information. I'd share information with him, and there was other people along the way that I learned from, other bettors, other bookmakers. We learn. It's every day you learn, whether it's bookmaking, sports, whatever it is. It's everything. Every day is a learning experience, and you've got to keep your eyes and ears open and be willing to share. Now, I want to hear what other people say and what they think. If Jeff likes the other side of a game, then I'm definitely going to back off or down on my bet. Not that I'm saying he's going to win every bet or I'm going to win every bet or lose every bet, but I'm definitely not going to go as crazy on a side because he's a respected player. He's a winning player. And, I'm going to look at that. Now, I'm not afraid of betting against the public. That's an easy thing to do because the public just generally doesn't do enough work, and they just, this is my team, I'm going to bet them, kind of thing. And yeah, you want to go against that, but against other people that are knowledgeable, I want to learn from them. I don't want them as my enemy.
Yeah, and it's not every day that we get somebody like Vinny to be on the panel that's on the other side of the counter. So I thought Vinny brought it up to me when he was here. I thought it was at least worth having a conversation about.
Well, he got a lot of extra protection coming in here.
Jim, let's move on to the Steelers-Ravens game. Baltimore's favored by 6. It was 6.5. Total went from 46.5 down to 42.5. How does the Ravens bounce back after their loss to the Bengals?
You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
You talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
You talking to me?
Where's Robert De Niro?
It's a good question. He owes me money.
I don't trust the Ravens. They've just been. I keep using the same phrase all the time. They're playing with their food. Lamar's maybe not healthy. The coaching staff has made some mistakes this year, beginning with the first game when they had that big lead. There's something wrong there, and maybe they need a change, just like maybe need a change in Pittsburgh. But I have to play the dog or nothing. And I would definitely play the under.
Jeff, what's your thoughts on this game?
I didn't play the game. And again, there's just too many question marks on this game. And, there is something wrong with Baltimore. You can't necessarily put your finger on it. But, again, the Steelers are no bargain. And in fact, the Steelers, the Bills ran the same play against the Steelers 27 times, I believe. And you would think that after, 5 or 6, they would have caught along. But, I mean, again, how you can run the same exact play that many times and they can't stop it. There are definitely issues with both teams. And again, I didn't play the game. I think the number's in the ballpark. I would maybe have taken 7, but again, reluctantly. I think I think there's a lot of games this week where the number for Vinny it's a good game to book.
Vinny, over to you then, just real quickly. How much do you guys look at interconference rivals and stuff like that?
Well, I think you have to pay close attention, particularly in this case, Tommy, right? Because these are two teams that are at the top, right? And it's the first time they're going to play each other this year. So whoever wins this game, with a game down the road, but whoever wins this one, it's actually a 2-game swing, right? Because of the head-to-head. I think it's you have to pay attention to the standings too. Who can afford both of these teams? It's a matter of from your side, the better side. Okay, who do you trust in this situation? And to Jeff's point, the points were taken initially at 6.5. Wasn't quite 7. I mean, we all remember when this was a field goal matchup, right? And then they just beat the hell out of each other. And then you bet against both of these teams the following week because they were so banged up from this game. So you have to pay close attention to it. But I think from a better standpoint too, Jeff and Jim probably held up and just said, wait, let me see how it moves. And maybe it's an in-game opportunity as well, because that's certainly taken on a whole new sense in this day and age, where the in-game really can give bettors more insight and have an opportunity. Or, again, sometimes the best bet that bettors make is the one that they don't make, right? So the most important bet could be, let me take a pass and observe.
Historically, this has been a dog and under
Yeah.
series. I mean, like you said, 3 points is about it. But this isn't it's a weird year.
Yeah.
But a lot of underdogs have covered. We got the Bengals sitting out there with Burrow back. I mean, they're
Dangerous.
terribly defensively, but I mean, they could sneak in because these two teams are not that good that you can't surpass them. And now that's wild to think that the Bengals, with that record, could actually do that. But somebody can run the table here.
To your point,
But they have stuff to overcome. I mean, they got a big game this week.
remember, it wasn't so many years ago that Seattle had a losing record and
Right.
wound up going to the playoffs because they wound up winning the division. They won a playoff game against the Saints. I think
Right.
the Saints were the defending champs at the time. So, desperate teams make for desperate times, for sure.
Well, the way the divisions are set up, all you really need to do to get in the playoffs is win your division.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have an 8-9 record. I mean, and get in there as long as the other division people teams are not doing well.
Let me stay with you, Jim. Titans at the Browns. Cleveland's favored by 4. Total's 33.5.
Whoa!
And you just told me Watson is going to be activated?
He is activated.
He's activated.
He's activated. I can't. This only Cleveland could do this stuff. I mean, it's what a shit show. Excuse me, but I don't know what Cleveland's doing. They're talking about playing with your food. This team for about a half a century is playing with their food. What a mess. I mean, you paid this guy $230 million guaranteed money. I mean, and I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Except, are you going to get on this game or no?
Well, barring, look, I think it's 33.5 or something like
33.5, yeah.
I mean, that's a little bit low to play because of the turnovers. Like last week, almost took it over because the guy in the punt or whatever kickoff fumbled it and picked it up 7. They still went under, but these teams are bad, except for one unit. The defense for Cleveland is exceptional, and that's probably the winning side. But can you lay 4 points with the Cleveland Browns?
I mean, can you see a 10-9 ball game here?
No, I mean Tennessee throws the ball around a lot. There's going to be some points, and there's going to be some turnovers. That's the problem with the total. I do like it under. I mean, there's going to be weather. I got pictures and wind coming, like the stuff coming in from these different stadiums. It's windy. It's cold there. It's like I think last night it was 19 degrees, and hello, I've got a helicopter. That makes it good for sound. The weather in Cleveland is awful. They got that lakefront thing that they got going on. Likely the wind is going to be bad. There might be snow. It's Wednesday, so I don't know what the hell's going to look like on Sunday. But I would say you would look at it, watch it on TV. It's in-game betting. I think in-game is probably the best way to approach it.
Jeff, you agree with Jim?
I did. I think the total's 34. I did go under 34.5. I don't think Tennessee's going to score much against Cleveland. Cleveland, I think this is the second time this year that they've been favored, which is shocking in itself. They're 1-0 as a favorite.
Looking to go 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, a strong trend there. Cleveland as a favorite, but I did play the under, and again, it's going to be cold. It'll be windy. It's always windy and cold there. This time of the year. Tennessee's not going to score much. I mean, my biggest concern is that, like Jim said, the turnovers. I think if there's not a bunch of turnovers, then I think Tennessee scores, maybe 10 tops, and Cleveland isn't exactly a juggernaut offensively either. So I do like it under, but again, with Cleveland's defense, they could get they could accidentally get 14. With Ward at the helm.
Vinny, what are you seeing on this game?
I can tell you right now that regardless of the weather, it's a bet not so much on the Browns and their defense. It's a bet against Tennessee, and we've already seen money coming in on the. In fact, there's this is one of the games early in the week where it's been pretty one-sided so far on our side of the counter. But Jim and Jeff are right. It's about the Browns defense, which is as good as there is in the league, and they, maybe I'll put up a prop. Who's going to score more points, Tennessee or the Browns defense alone? Because now the weather is a great equalizer. That's an excellent point too. And both teams have to play in it. But I mean, when you look at the Browns, maybe that 1-0 trend against as a favorite could continue right here when you take the bettors in their opinion into account so far.
Statistically, the Browns still have a chance to make the playoffs.
If they're not mathematically eliminated.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. And they stink.
Well, that's what happens when the leader of your division's 6-6.
Yeah.
You're right.
Jim, let's talk about the Colts at the Jaguars. Indianapolis, it was opened. I saw it at 2.5. Now this morning, it's down to 1.5. It's 47.5 total. Colts have lost 3 of their last 4. Their last win was in overtime versus Atlanta. Do you trust Indianapolis going in Jacksonville?
Absolutely not. I like the Jags. I think they started out the wrong favorite in this game. I really do not like Indianapolis going there. As a matter of fact, I made a bet this morning that the Colts missed the playoffs. I like the Jags in this game.
Okay.
Jeff.
Oh, look, got Richie Bachelari walking in. Pheasant.
Okay, this is great. 2 all-star big guys, Richie and Fezzik. That's awesome. Hey guys.
Another Hall of Famer. I would agree. I could only bet the home team here, but again, it's a toss-up game. I think it's a good game to watch and to book. I didn't bet it. And if you put a gun to my head, I would bet the Jags, but I'm not going to play the game. But I'll root for the Jags. Jim to make his bet, win his bet on the Colts not to make the playoffs.
Thank you. I need all the winners I can get.
I don't know if that's going to help you, Jim, but I'll do my best.
I want you on my side.
There's interest on both sides right now.
Is that
so far? I mean, but a big question mark too with the Colts is, the right kind of hit or the wrong kind of hit, I guess it would be for Daniel Jones with a fracture in his leg, which is so. I mean, if you're going to bet the Colts, it's kind of risky, given the fact that he's not 100%.
Right. Yeah.
Jim, Commanders, Vikings. Minnesota was 2.5. It's down to 1.5. Total's 42. Now, last week you said that Bosmer can't be much worse than McCarthy, but he went 19 for 30 with 126 yards and 4 picks.
He was worse.
He was worse. And we just found out before the show that the quarterback rating for J.J. McCarthy and the quarterback rating for Bosmer
I love this.
is lower than if you spike the ball every time. The quarterback rating would be 39.6, and they both have ratings lower than that.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, they made a big gamble on J.J. McCarthy and got rid of Darnold. I mean, they screwed up. I mean, they had great franchise, a lot of great players. They could have been something. It's like that movie. They could have been somebody. They're just awful. Awful.
Is this a game to stay away from, or are you going to take Washington?
Oh, hell no. I'm taking the Commanders. Absolutely.
Jeff, are you on the same side?
I'm just shocked that anybody had a lower rating than J.J. McCarthy. I actually didn't play the game, and again, we were talking before the show that there's a lot of these conference championships, and I mean, what would you rather bet on? Washington and Minnesota, 2 teams that are mathematically, if they're not mathematically eliminated, they're basically eliminated. Or Ohio State and Indiana. I mean, so again, I didn't bet this game. Like a lot of the games, I haven't bet this week because again, I don't know the motivation of these teams. You know, do they even want to win? And both these teams are lousy.
Vinny, for you, how difficult is it then to come up with the right line when you have a quarterback situation that's going on in Minnesota?
Yeah, it's difficult because then you've got the injuries on the Washington side too,
Right.
Tommy? So, you know, to Jeff's point, I'd rather book some of the conference championship games than this one, but you know, it's up there. Early money's come in on the Vikings, maybe because they're home, maybe because they think that McCarthy will. It's certainly an upgrade if you could consider it an upgrade, and maybe just the home team. So
Did you ever think you hear J.J. McCarthy's an upgrade?
I mean,
I know.
but after last week, you have to say, well, at least he's got some more familiarity, right? I mean, look, Rossman was he was an undrafted free agent, I guess, for a reason, right? So he's no Kurt Warner.
I'm going to quote you on that, Vinny. I'm going to write that one down. I'm going to remind you.
I'm sure you will.
J.J. McCarthy is an upgrade, and I don't think we're going to hear that much again.
Over Prosper. Make sure you put in over.
Make sure he signs that.
Jim, are you going to be on any side with the Dolphins at the Jets? Miami's favored by 2.5, total at 44.5.
Yes.
Okay.
The one thing that Miami traditionally, they do not play well in cold weather.
I'll say they're playing better since they fired the GM.
True, but it's still cold. They're still a warm weather team that has a tradition. Why are they favored? You know, I mean,
That's Vinny.
Because they're playing the Jets.
Well, I mean, but the Jets have improved a little bit as well. I mean, the change of quarterback has made a difference. No, they shouldn't be favored. It's cold up there. It's going to be windy. It's going to be cold. Miami doesn't play well. The Jets aren't going to lay down. And talking about teams that want to play, the players want to play. They want to win. It might be the management, the coaching, that's looking for draft choices, but the players don't want to go out there and embarrass themselves. So they go out and play. I think the Jets will want to win. Miami will want to win. But I think the Jets have a chance against a team that's just not good in cold weather. Tua's not good in cold weather. He has trouble holding onto the ball. And I'm going to take the Jets there.
Jeff, are you on this game at all?
You know, similar to the Redskins, I still call them the Redskins and the Vikings. I didn't play this game either. Again, you know, this is almost like the preseason. You know, at this point, you know, the coach's motivation. You know, it looks like Miami's trying when it looks actually like the Jets are trying. So, but they're again two lousy teams, and you know, I've done a lot of betting over for 35 years, and I find, you know, some of these games where you don't really, you know, say, well, you know, I really like this game. I just pass. And like we talked about, conference championships are this week, and there's a lot of really good games. And actually, I did bet a lot of those, but I didn't do a lot in the NFL this week. You know, I bet Detroit, and again, similar to, you know, what we were talking about before with this gentleman to my right who makes the numbers, and a scholar. We you know, it's a perfect example. Jim likes Dallas, I like Detroit, you know, and let's put the number up and let people bet.
Vinny, go ahead.
I mean, early money's come in on the Dolphins, I think, because, you know, perception is that they've played better. You know, they're not mathematically eliminated either, and people, you know, are familiar with it. You know, the public loves to be in tune with, you know, what's trendy, right? Professionals will wait and say, what's the best number? Now, it's gotten to 3, so the question is, will it get through 3? And if it does, don't blink, because there'll be an automatic play on the Jets. To Jim's point, Jets players, they're fighting for jobs. I mean, you know, they don't care about draft picks and draft capital and things like that. So there are guys fighting for jobs, but so are guys on the Dolphins, especially the coach in particular. So I think it's a game that's going to see interest on both sides, but the early money's come in on the Dolphins.
About playing for jobs, they're either playing football or bagging groceries.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're playing.
Yeah.
Well, Kurt Warner was bagging groceries, and then he turned out to be a Hall of Famer. And Jim, you said it was going to be cold. It's going to be a balmy 38 in New York that day.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, Miami after that, they could go to Jones Beach right after.
Vinny, I want to stay with you for the next game with the Saints at Tampa Bay. The line is 8.5. Tampa's favored 42.5. And my question for you on your side, with Tampa being so banged up and the possibility of getting some guys back, how difficult is it to set this line?
Well, you start, obviously this game you'll start with a touchdown and go and say, okay, well, obviously where are we going to go with it? You have to make it higher because you know that the public is going to be all over the favorite in this game, and it's going to be more of a play against the Saints. So, is it difficult? No, but I'll tell you the aspect of from a booking standpoint, you're going to move it a lot quicker because you'll see a trend develop a lot earlier. It's not that it's a key number, but also that in exotic plays like money line parlays and teasers by the public, they're going to bet the favorite in this game. So that the game is going to go up. It's just a matter of anticipation, under normal circumstances. And if this was 2 weeks ago with Tampa's injuries, it would probably be a little bit lower. But the fact of the matter is they are getting healthier and they're in the driver's seat. Without looking ahead, don't forget they still have 2 games left with Carolina, 2 of the last 3 weeks. So they play them, then they've got a game in between, and then they finish the season with them. So I don't think it's a matter of them looking too far ahead.
Jim, I know you're on Tampa this year. What's your thoughts on this game?
Well, back in June, I know my friend Scott tells me to calm down with the Bucks. But I did make a lot of plays on Tampa Bay to make the playoffs, to go further. And at the time, I thought Baker would have a MVP team. The problem is they've been hurt every week, the whole season. They've never played healthy. Now, I know Evans is not coming back, but other players are coming back, and they still have a good coach. And Baker's a winning quarterback, and he's tough as hell. If they're healthy, I'm going to say it again, Scott. Don't yell at me. But if they get into the playoffs, and I do believe they will, they can be very dangerous. They will get a home game. They might get a second game against the opponent they can handle. But I know one thing: when they go out there with Baker under center, he's going to fight. I'm not going to lay this number, but I like them to win the game straight up. Now, that might be a teaser action possibly, but I like them to win the game and move on. And with those 2 games against the Panthers, that's all they got to do is win one of them.
Jeff, is this number too big for you?
It's a little high, but again, you have Tampa at home against a divisional team that is not playing very well. But what Jim said, I would agree with. You would tease this or money line Tampa only. I don't trust the Saints, and I certainly wouldn't play more than 7 with Tampa. I think that they'll win the game, and again, they could be up 14 in the 4th, and in the NFL, that everybody goes into that prevent with 5 minutes left, and they could control the game and then win by 7. So it would be a teaser money line play, but again, the money line's a little inflated, so maybe a teaser with Tampa.
Jim, I want to go back with you. For me, for 2 teams that I don't have any trust in at all, and that's the Bengals going to the Bills. Yesterday, Buffalo was favored by 6.5. Today, I saw it's down to 5.5. Total's at 53. I don't know what's going on in Buffalo, and Burrow's back, so I don't know what to think of Cincinnati. What's your thoughts on this matchup?
It's very confusing because Josh Allen he could be the best quarterback in football. He can do it with his legs. He can do it with his arm. He's tough as nails. But I don't know about the coaching staff. For years, they've seemed to not use him the right way. And it seems to be happening again this year. It's a defensive coach, and that sometimes the defensive coaches don't make adjustments fast enough as an offensive coach like Johnson with Detroit last year and now with Chicago. That might be the answer. I don't know. Now with Burrow's pretty damn good, and he could be right there with Josh Allen as one of the best. They're still without Higgins though, at wide receiver, so that limits them a little bit. But right now, I actually bet the Bengals when it came out, so I got a better number than what it is right now, and that's the lean. But now tell people to take it at a deflated number. What can I say? If that's the number we have, so I got to go with it. The weather's not going to be good there. That's just like Cleveland and Pittsburgh. It's all in the same area around the lake. It gets bad. It affects the passing. It affects the running. Everything. The one bad thing here is you got one of the worst defenses in football with Cincinnati. So no matter how good Burrow is, can he overcome his own defense? And that's a problem. I like the dog, but not necessarily at this number.
Jeff, I know you're a Bills fan. What's going on with Buffalo this year?
I wish I knew. I really do. I've been. I flew to Houston to watch them that game. It was pretty exciting, that hook and ladder. I mean, I was there, and I was sitting there, and he throws a 15-yard pass on 4th and 29, and I was like, what the heck is he doing? And it was like, it fooled me too, as he did the Houston defense. I don't know. I think their offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, I think his Cinderella time has ended. I don't like the play calling. They have had a lot of injuries. I mean, last week they had 2 offensive linemen, probably their 2 best offensive linemen out, and they ran for a record rushing against the Steelers. In fact, it broke the record of O.J. Simpson and I think the 75 Bills that went into Pittsburgh and had 200 and some odd rushing yards. So I don't know how they ran for that, but I do think that Cincinnati, with their defense, which Jim alluded to as being horrible, and especially against the run, and I think the Bills will be able to run on Cincinnati. And again, I think that, with the wind and the cold, I think it minimizes the passing game, which will neutralize the 2 great quarterbacks a little bit. And I think the Bills have a much better running game. And so, again, I think Buffalo will win the game, but I mean, they've been a Jekyll and Hyde all year long.
Vinny, after the win last week for Cincinnati, you see more money go that side with Burrow back?
Well, with Burrow back, yeah. I mean, if you take of the points, considering the fact that he'll press, right? They'll score points. I mean, in this day and age, it's about teams that can score points that can possibly stay in games. Can you really trust the Bills' defense, really, when you think about it? So the initial money that came in wasn't on either side here, but a little bit on the over. And I think the public is enamored still by these teams. They're not looking at the weather, right? Because they're looking at their fantasy teams, and both of these teams have players that attract that type of activity. So professionals looking at, say, taking into consideration who can run the ball, maybe the weather is going to be a factor, wait for this total to go up, and then probably look at the under as we get closer to game time.
Jim, somewhere where weather's not going to be a factor is here at Allegiant Stadium with the Broncos coming in to play the Raiders. I saw the Broncos sign veteran wide receiver Elijah Moore to the practice squad. So we'll see what happens with that. They're favored by 7.5. Total's at 40.5. But let me ask you this. Is Pete Carroll going to be coaching the Raiders next year?
Well, I can't answer that. But when do we get a professional team?
Well, we had one
assigned
to us.
It doesn't look like one.
They have a stadium here.
It's a nice stadium.
It's a beautiful stadium.
We've got a couple of nice players.
Are you going to lay the points then?
No, I'm not laying the points. I would not lay.
You going to take the Raiders?
Could I just pass?
Yes.
Okay.
Jeff?
You could maybe tease Denver to Tampa. Maybe that would be a good one.
I would be happy with that. Yes.
Yeah, I think that might be the way to go. And if you're going to be doing any tailgating, weather could be a factor.
Vinny, I'll go with you on that.
It's a ride share stadium. There is no tailgate. Casinos want you to tailgate inside right up until game time and take advantage of table games and slots. But this is a game where the initial money, believe it or not, came in on Monday and yesterday on the Raiders, the home team. When you look at the Broncos, so they play close games, right? I mean, they hang around. Their defense is phenomenal. But they're always life and death, it seems, in the majority of their games in the fourth quarter. Now, that defense against this Raider offense, which is absolutely probably the worst offensive line in the league, the public will be certainly on the Broncos in this game, so the likelihood of the game going up will be significant. There'll be a lot of Bronco fans there. They travel very well. And as we see on a regular basis, there are more visiting team fans in the stands at Allegiant than Raider fans, and so that'll play that'll play into the Broncos side a bit. But we'll need the Raiders in this game as we do every week.
Maybe betting Geno Smith to get sacked 10 times in the game. That would be that's a good bet.
Jim, let me ask you about this. We have the Bears at Green Bay. Green Bay's favored by 6.5. Total's 44.5. Are you a believer in the Bears yet?
A lot of people say they're playing with their food but still winning. But Johnson's done a hell of a job. He did a hell of a job in Detroit. How come we not look at this and say these guys are for real? I mean, they go to Philly and they win. It wasn't that hard. Yes, I mean they're number one in the NFC right now, the number one seed. I can't believe that.
And Ben Johnson said that doesn't mean anything in Week 14, which he's right. It doesn't, but they're there right now.
Well, it means something to me because they got there. They're there. I don't think they're equal to the Rams. No way, but they're there, and they have obviously this guy's a good head coach and a good offensive coordinator, and Caleb is growing and learning. And who knows where he's going to go? He has talent. His physical abilities are there. Can they beat Green Bay? Well,
Green Bay.
That's a tough challenge. Green Bay's a tough place to play. Green Bay's a good team, and somebody in this room is going to win some money from me because I made a bad bet. But anyway, be that as it may, I'm going to go to Dollar Loan Center and get the money. So I would have to take the dog just because it's a division game. It's a big game. I do believe in Johnson. I do believe in their growth and what they've been doing. I don't particularly want to. I would not bet the favorite. I just don't see laying the points in the spot as a positive EV spot.
Jeff, are you a believer in the Bears?
I wasn't up until they beat Philadelphia as badly as they did last week.
Too soon. Sorry.
I really thought, that Philly was going to, basically, end Chicago's parade, and they just dismantled Philadelphia. I mean, the score was closer than it should have been, and so, their defense is not great. Their offense is not great, but they seem to be having, good running game. Their coach is great. I think he calls an amazing game, and the players are playing for him. And I think that, it might very well be their year, because they keep winning games and keep surprising. So again, I wouldn't bet on Chicago in this spot, but I certainly couldn't bet Green Bay.
Vinny.
Yeah, I think the initial money's come in on the Packers in this game to drive it to 6.5. I know that's what it is at South Point. I mean, does it touch 7? I know if it does, again, as I said earlier, a key number like that, it won't last very long. So I think that the Bears answered a lot of questions a couple of weeks ago, as Jeff said, in Philadelphia, because they hadn't beaten teams. They were beating up on teams with losing records. I think this game's probably going to come down to which quarterback makes the fewest mistakes. And when you look at who's been a bit more consistent under center for the last month, it's Williams, right? When you look at it, so that I think is going to be in the minds of somebody looking to bet the Bears, waiting to see if it gets to 7, and when it does, it'll be a take.
Jim, we have the Rams going to Arizona. The Rams are favored by 8.5. Totals 48.5. Is this too big of a number for the Rams on the road, or are the Rams good enough to cover this in Arizona?
The Rams are good enough to cover a lot of numbers because they are very, very good, and they are going to be pissed. I mean, they blew a game last week.
Yes, they did.
It was a cross-country trip. It was a tough spot. Sometimes you take the opponent lightly and you play with your food, which is what they did. Now, I got to give credit to the other side. They played well. Young played a good game. They called a good game. This is a division game now. This is different. They're going to win the game, but the Cardinals are not going to lay down. They can put up points. The game should easily go over the total.
Okay.
I'm not worried about the weather. I like the game to go over the total. If I had to play the game, I'd probably play the dog, but I'm definitely playing the over.
Jeff, you agree?
I didn't do anything. I do agree that the Rams are going to be pissed. And again, maybe a teaser here.
Yeah.
Vinny, for you then,
Yeah, you're right.
because of what happened with the Rams last week, is that one reason why we see the number where it's at?
Yeah, it'll go higher. I mean, the Rams are going to be decided by the public, I think. But I can't imagine even professionals really looking to trust the Cardinals in this spot, especially after what happened. Stafford alone, he had 3 turnovers. And again, whatever you want to call it, the broadcaster jinx it with the graphic, hasn't thrown an interception. He's thrown 38 consecutive touchdown passes without an interception, and the next word you hear, and it's picked off, going to the end zone on a pick 6. But there's no question here. We're gonna need the Cardinals for a pretty significant number, and the other part of it is there's carryover, so it's an afternoon game, which will have everything from Thursday through the morning going to.
Jim, going to Sunday night, we have the Texans at the Chiefs. Chiefs were 4.5 yesterday. Today it's 3.5. Totals 41.5. Before I get your thoughts on the game, are you more surprised the Chiefs are sitting in 10th place right now, or Chicago's in first place?
Chicago in first place.
It's more surprising.
That's more surprising. I didn't think the Chiefs would have a great year. I thought they got very lucky last year with a lot of one-score games, and it looked like, they're a team that had won division 9 straight years and been to 5 out of 6 Super Bowls. And it's kind of, you do that, you're playing a lot of extra games in the playoffs. Your bank accounts are pretty full, and they're getting a lot of attention, and they read their own press clippings, and you get a little full of yourself. And sometimes you're just not prepared. And when you win that many one-score games, you got to look for some regression, and I expected that, and it's happened. So, no, I'm not surprised about their decline. I am surprised about Chicago. I didn't think that would happen, especially when you have Detroit and Green Bay in there. For them to be up at the top, number 1 seed right now, that is totally shocking.
Are you on any side in this game?
I like the dog. The one thing I don't like about it is you got an indoor team going outdoors. It's going to be cold. That is not traditionally a good thing to look at. But their defense, the Houston defense is really good. And I like their coach. Now, if Stroud is able to stay upright, that could be a tough game for Kansas City because, Mahomes' stats are really good. Everybody looks at this team and they say, well, Mahomes just isn't playing well. He actually is playing well. But it's the team overall, and they have a tough schedule. They've played a lot of tough teams, and this is another tough team. I don't see Kansas City winning by margin. If they win, it should be close. So I'd be on Houston, and I'd definitely be on the under.
Jeff, before I get your thoughts on the game, what do you think is more possible? The Chiefs make the playoffs or the Bears don't?
The Bears have a tough schedule the rest of the way, don't they?
Yes, they do. Vinny, you got a
That's
thought?
a good one.
Yeah.
Vinny, maybe put up a prop. Before I answer, maybe a prop. But I think
There's a prop for you, Vinny.
There's a prop.
I don't think the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. They lose tiebreakers to the Bills. I do agree. That Houston plus the points is the way to go here. I mean, again, Houston plays a lot of close games. Their defense is, I'm not sure if their defense or Cleveland's defense is the best in the NFL, but they're 1-2, and it's going to be cold, and again, it's not a good situation for Mahomes, who's not going to have any time to throw against this defense, and they have great linebackers and great cornerbacks. So, I would think, getting back to your question, the Chiefs making the playoffs would surprise me more at this point.
Yeah, I think particularly with the Bears' position right now, too, with about a month to go. But it's a great game to book. I could tell you that. I mean, you look at the 3 primetime games: Thursday, this game, and of course Monday night, even with the Herbert injury, which I know we'll get to. There's going to be interest for both of you. Folks will make a case for both sides. So from a bookmaking standpoint, you love to have. I wish every game had this type of attraction, right? You've got both teams fighting for a playoff spot. One thing about the Texans, as an indoor team going outside and in a cold environment, defense travels. So what is the weather going to impact more than anything? Offense more so than defense. So both teams with the need, right, to prevail here adds to the betting factor, whichever side you're looking for. I mean, maybe a situation where folks are waiting for another number. The carryover will go to this one more so than the afternoon games, because everything gets to the primetime games.
Vinny, let me stay with you. You brought up the Herbert injury Monday night with Eagles at the Chargers. Philly was 3. I saw it's down to 2.5, and the total 40.5. Give us your thoughts on what this is going to.
Well, I think it's a take on the number, right? The most important number in the NFL being 3, and that's the one that professionals in particular will pay attention to. I think it's his left hand that he had to have the procedure on Monday, so all indications are he's going to play, but it's certainly going to impact him, right? I mean, look at what Philly's done in the last few weeks, just inconsistent. As good as they are, and even though they're in a playoff position, you've got the Chargers at home with you're playing good. Their defense, I think, has surprised people more than anything. So another game that has playoff ramifications. It's got an attraction for bettors on both sides, depending on what that number will be. And what that number, ends up as, from our side of the counter, I don't need the game to fall 3. So, I mean that, we don't need the Eagles to win by 3. So, but from a betting and a bookmaking standpoint, you'd rather book these games that have meaning, that have, both teams incentivized to perform. But again, the great equalizer is the number, whether it's a game like this or some of the other games that we talked about where either side is kind of out of it and building on the future, or one side has all the momentum.
Jeff, for you, what are you looking at more? What happened with the Bears did to Philadelphia, or the injury to Herbert?
I mean, they're both significant. Obviously, the injury to Herbert is very important. Rodgers, who had an injury to his, non-throwing, he fumbled once during the game, which caused, the Bills got a touchdown on that. So again, you miss a snap or something like that, the injury, even to the non-throwing arm, it can impact. But again, there's so many question marks, because you look at a Philadelphia team that has been very inconsistent this year. They haven't played a lot of really good games like last year. I mean, they were just dominant. And this year, you know, one game they play well, the next game they don't play well. So you don't really know, you know, I mean, as a gambler, you want consistency. You want to know, like, you know, I mean, like a guy like a Patrick Mahomes, you know, I know that he's going to give you a hell of an effort every game he goes out. You know, with the Eagles, I don't know what I'm getting this week. You know, am I getting the team that they played against the Bears, or am I getting a team that, you know, the played the second half against the Cowboys or the first half against the Cowboys? I mean, it was like two different games. So again, I'm not doing anything on this, especially with, you know, I don't like to do too much when there's question marks. If there's, you know, because I can pick and choose what I do and don't do. I could watch the game and bet the second half and sort of see what I'm doing. But you know, that's the advantage of being on this side of the counter, is you don't have to bet every game. And this game I'm just going to watch.
Jim, wrap it up.
Well, I agree with what Jeff just said. You don't have to bet every game. I'm kind of surprised that the Chargers have been able to do as much on offense with that offensive line being hurt. And now, granted, Herbert's gotten hurt now. He's got the hand, and he had surgery. And I know Philadelphia is going to try to avoid hitting him on that hand. You know,
Of course.
So that's the way football players are.
Always.
You know that?
Very kind.
Yeah, so
and thoughtful.
This is not a great spot. I mean, Philadelphia is not. They're not consistent, but they're not dog meat either. I mean, they're still a good football team. They are the defending champions. But I would only do one thing here, and that play the under, and that's it.
I know we want to get some conference championships. We're really running out of time. So, Jeff, you can give us one real quick before we go. What's the best conference championship matchup you like?
Well, for everybody that's stuck around, I'll tell you what I played. I played Kennesaw State at a pick'em, and I played Boise -3. I like that one quite a bit, although the game's gone up a little bit. I took BYU +14. They're a hell of a team, playing a great team in Texas Tech. But the game, I bet Georgia against Alabama. I mean, another great game. I just think Georgia's a little bit better, and you know, Bama without Saban at the helm is a different Alabama team. But the game I like a lot. You know, I bet Ohio State on the money line. I think that I laid $1.85, and I think that, you know, as good as Indiana is, I think Ohio State is the best team in the country. They have just a juggernaut at defense, and they got a great offensive line. And I think Indiana's going to be stepping up a little bit here, and I think Ohio State will show everybody just how good they are.
All right, next week we're going to have Scott Spreitzer and Aaron Renning with us. How about a round of applause for Vinny Magliulo, Jeff Whitelaw, and the man Jim Feist. My name is Tommy Canale. We will see you next week right here. Thank you to Jay Laura for the wine. For those of you that are here, stay tuned after the outro. We'll find out who's going to give the wine. Good luck on your bets, everybody.